Are we just stupid or are we super clever? Because there is a huge rise in the number of South Africans participating in pyramid schemes. It could be a sign of people's desperation, of course, but maybe they're just a couple of clever people who realize that there are enough people dumb enough to keep giving them money. Do these schemes work and the 30-40% returns? The books tell us it's complete rubbish. This is The Moneymakers. I'm Bruce Whitfield, consumer journalist and author. Maya Fisher-French, and in our Joburg studios, Gerald Mwandiambira, who's a chartered financial planner, to talk about why we're seeing this huge level of support for schemes. And let's name it, Gerald Mwandiambira. Let's call it Triple M if you like, because there's an awful lot of hype, an awful lot of excitement and an awful lot of money going into this particular scheme.
I think it's a sign of the times, Bruce. Basically what we have is a scenario where when things get tougher in the economy, people get desperate. There's a combination of two factors. One is guilt, that people have not been planning financially for a rainy day, so to speak, and also it's greed, in that some of these returns which are offered are so high. I mean, 30% a month, let's put into reality, that works out to 360% per annum. There's no investment often which can give you anything close to that, and that's without even compounding it. Compound it, you're looking at over 400% per annum, and that's tasty money for people who are desperate.
How much money have you put in, Gerald?
I wish I had, but I haven't put in. But the way it works is that people who put in small amounts of money get paid quickly and immediately. They go spread the word, new members come in and join, and that's how the cycle goes. The larger amount of money you put in, it gets tricky after that.
Have you been invited by anybody? Has anybody in your network, your circle, said to you, Gerald, I've got this great thing. Let's put some money in this thing together?
Yes, I know people who I've talked out of it in my family, and this scheme actually recruits outside banks. They are that bold that they stand outside a bank and say, why get 10% a year when you can get 30% per month? They're recruiting like crazy. And the difference with this particular scheme is that they have already prepared their members for objections. So often what happens is they've been told that banks are the biggest Ponzi scheme. Money is not necessary. Let's have Mavros and Bitcoins. And they've basically created objections already in the minds of the members, which makes it very difficult to convince them that this thing is a Ponzi scheme.
I wonder if Maya on Money has managed to avoid it. Maya Fisher-French. That's the same outfit I saw you wear last time I saw you. Clearly times are tough.
Times are tough.
How much money have you lost?
Yeah, so well, I'm double M as opposed to triple M. So. But Bruce, I had a temptation just to put in 1,000 Rand and see how it works, because I wanted to see firsthand. Obviously, I've been engaging with members and they've been emailing me and explaining how it works. So I thought, well, maybe I should do it myself as a journalist and test it out. But I actually couldn't bring myself to perpetuate the myth. And it's not the 1,000 Rand that I'm going to lose. It's more the fact that I'm going to perpetuate this any longer. And
you couldn't stand it if you did get the 30% back at the end of month one, and within two or 3 months you doubled your money, because you'd be tempted to put in more.
Well, you know what? I invested in Standard Bank. It's up 30%. So maybe Standard Bank is actually the Ponzi scheme, as everybody claims banks are. So for me, I'd rather stick to an investment I understand, and I understand where the returns are coming from. And I think, for me, what I really object to in all of this is if you want to go and you want to put money there and you don't want to listen to anybody else, fine. But what concerns me, Bruce, is we're getting people phoning into radio stations boasting about the amount of money that they are effectively making out of other people's donations. So, how do you feel that somebody else is putting money in with no hope of a return, by the way, and they're very open about that. They said there's no guarantee, and we've got this all over media and on the websites and that, there's no guarantee of this return, but please take the risk because I need to keep funding my new lifestyle. And I have a huge objection to that. There's something really morally corrupt about something that relies on people's donations to keep your lifestyle going.
Now, I've heard it described as a theft program. I mean, a financial advisor I chatted to last week said this is nothing short of theft. We just don't have a legal framework to stop it.
Well, exactly. So you've got a situation where you go and you anonymously put money into an ATM machine. You're given a bank account. And you trust that this bank account belongs to another Triple M member and not perhaps the Russian syndicate running this, and that money is then being handed over to some person who needs this donation. You put this money in anonymously with the great hope that when you, in 30 days' time, apply for your donation and ask for help, that you will receive it. So it's all just hope. It's all hope.
Okay, so I mean, Gerald, when we look at it, we've seen these things come and go in the past. Why is it that the great South African public, many people say that this is being worked through the Stokvel system, but others, and I've had conversations with people claiming to be chartered accountants and claiming to be lawyers and all sorts of other highfalutin qualifications, are going hell for leather into this system?
I think it's really a matter of greed. I think we are a consumption-based economy. Basically, if you look at the South African Reserve Bank numbers, the household debt to income is over 75%, at 78%. If you look at the household savings versus income, it's at minus 2.3%. So we are a country which just loves to spend. And any opportunity that allows people to feel that they are spending is seen as an attractive opportunity. Also, what you're getting is, I think you're getting a bit of social activism where people are protesting against somewhat the financial system in terms of saying banks are Ponzi's, insurance schemes are Ponzi's. It speaks and it speaks directly to us professionals that we ought to be doing more around financial education and financial capability to the people, because although there's much more information available, it's clear that people still don't quite understand how the financial system works.
The problem here, Maya, is people like Gerald will go and sit across the table from somebody and say, here you put your money into a retail savings bond, or you can put it into a cash deposit and get yourself 7% interest. That's a really good interest rate. And people look at you as if you're drunk as a financial advisor doing that. Why would you do it when you can go across town to Johnny Come Lately and take more of a chance but get better cash out?
It is, and I think that's been what's been so attractive. I think I was listening to one of the it's been on the radio stations for the last 3 weeks, and one of the Triple M members said, well, so what, take a risk, put $1,000 in, take the risk. And it's the lotto, it's the same as lotto. Why do people play the lotto with those odds? So there's this incredible upside potential, and people are prepared to take risks. I think what's concerning me now also in where we are within the Triple M system is that how many people are now borrowing money to put money in. And when they don't get the money back, because eventually the system by its nature implodes, how many people are going to be owning micro-lenders?
How does it implode? It simply implodes by virtue of the fact that you eventually run out of friends, fools and family to draw into the net. And once those run out, the money stops flowing in and it implodes from the center.
Bruce, the thing is, it's exponential. So your growth has to be, I can't remember the numbers, but it's sort of like 1,000% sort of exponential growth in order to remember, you're not just trying to give back the person their 1,000 rand, you're trying to give them back 1,300 rand. Yeah. So the number of new members has to grow exponentially, and that is where it eventually implodes, because the numbers eventually get to a point where it just cannot grow anymore. And of course, any query by authorities or by the media can exacerbate that situation, which is why the media is being vilified and why the authorities, perhaps, I don't know why they're being as slow as they are, but perhaps they are going cautiously because of the very fact that they could be held responsible.
But there's information and there's misinformation. What we've seen in the last couple of days is letters appearing on, I think it's the Triple M site, apologies from the Reserve Bank for criticizing Triple M, apologies from an apparent News 24 journalist for daring to be critical, and my goodness me, I was so wrong. I've seen the light and the light is good. It's quite
that was a website that was started in February this year called Join Triple M. We started publishing these so-called apologies from the Reserve Bank and from News 24 journalists that don't exist. And when I tried to get hold of the actual official Triple M South African website, they came back to me and said, no, this is the only official website, but they wouldn't disown the other website. So it's these, you never know who's behind this. That's the thing.
So you've communicated with people at Triple M.
Yes.
Do we know if they're here, there or in Albania?
Well, there's basically this. It's all virtual. So who knows? Who knows? We do know that there is this website. There's the actual website, but then there's the system that allocates the Mavros and the bank accounts and all of these things. And that system, we don't know who's behind it. We can only assume it is Mavrodi himself, and that the server, we believe, is sitting in Russia. So again, people have no comeback. I ask you, if you tomorrow you go and you log on and you want to find out where your money is and you can't find it and the website's down, where do you go? Nowhere.
Yeah. What happens, Gerald, when this all goes pear-shaped? We're going to see public outcry, outrage, and demands that the Reserve Bank step in and bail out depositors like they did with African Bank? Something like that? Am I seeing the future?
Definitely. I think that's the way things go. Right now, they want nothing to do with the law. They don't want the law to stop them from making money. The law is also there to protect people, and that's what they don't realize. However, once they lose money, they run straight to the authorities and demand that they get their money back. And what's worrying is that the numbers being bandied around in terms of membership, they're talking 2 million plus people, which is quite a possibility because they've modeled themselves around the Stokvel culture and tried to fool and deceive people into thinking that they are virtual Stokvel. However, they aren't. They're simply a Ponzi scheme. I think there's a criminal element definitely involved somewhere along the way. There could be money laundering, and I think this one could actually have serious repercussions even for the government, because I think that's part of the reason why the state and authorities are very nervous, because it's an election year and you don't want to upset the public.
Yeah, you don't want to upset the public, rather get the public upset themselves. I did chat to Andile Mazwai last week, and Andile Mazwai nowadays, of course, runs the National Stokvel Association, and he has told his call centre to assure people that this is nowhere near anything that is condoned by the Stokvel Association. Maya, what is the regulatory process? Is there a regulatory process around this?
You know, I've been following up with the National Consumer Commission, and they are meeting with the Hawks any day now. They were going to meet with them on Friday. They haven't met with them yet, so I am waiting, and as soon obviously we hear. But there is, obviously this was investigated by the NCC last year. It was handed to the Hawks, I think in December. Now, what's been happening, I have been trying to get hold of somebody from the Hawks to get a little bit of feedback, but it seems like everyone's gone to ground. Nobody really is doing any official comments at this stage. I imagine, again, it is because they don't want to compromise any investigation. It's very hard, if there's an open investigation, perhaps to round up some of the people behind this. So I will put my faith in the regulators and say I think that they are taking action behind the scenes, but a lot of it is investigative at this stage. But we should hear something in the next week.
There we go. Maya Fisher-French. Thank you very much. Maya Fisher-French is the founder, the chief architect and the driver of mayaonmoney.co.za. Also, Gerald Mwandiambira, who is a certified financial planner. More money dream chasers, more losers and winners next time on The Moneymakers. Till then, bye-bye.